Before MKUltra became the poster child for things the government shouldn't have done, there was Project Artichoke. Started on August 20th, 1951, this was the CIA's first serious attempt at playing God with people's brains. The goal? Figure out if you could force someone to assassinate someone, then make them forget they did it. Normal Tuesday stuff for the federal government. The CIA was convinced that with the right cocktail of drugs, hypnosis, and torture, they could turn anyone into a weapon. They tested LSD, morphine, cocaine, marijuana, basically anything they could get their hands on. One CIA agent was kept on LSD for 77 straight days. That's like being stuck in a never-ending fever dream where the walls won't stop breathing and you're not sure if your hands are real. Here's the kicker. Project Artichoke officially ran under the CIA's Office of Scientific Intelligence, which sounds way more professional than the department that doses people with hallucinogens to see what happens. They worked with the Army, Navy, Air Force, and FBI to gather intel on the best ways to mess with human brains. By 1952, they were secretly drugging their own agents just to see what happened. Because why test on willing volunteers when you can surprise your coworkers with acid in their morning coffee? The whole thing was run by Paul Gaynor and became the blueprint for something even more twisted. In April 1953, the CIA officially launched Project MKUltra, and if Artichoke was the sketchy beta test, MKUltra was the full psycho release. This wasn't one experiment. It was 149 separate sub-projects spread across universities, hospitals, prisons, and research facilities. The agency threw millions at anyone willing to study how to break human minds and put them back together wrong. The man in charge? Sidney Gottlieb, the CIA's personal mad scientist. Gottlieb believed LSD was the key to mind control, so the CIA bought the entire world's supply. $240,000 in 1950s money, over $4 million today. They spread it around like party favors to prisons, hospitals, and universities, just handing out government-funded acid to see what would stick. The CIA's logic was simple and insane. If the Soviets were brainwashing American POWs during the Korean War, America needed to fight fire with fire. The only problem? MKUltra didn't just target enemy spies. They dosed regular Americans with no consent, no warnings, no, hey, we're about to scramble your brain like an egg at a Waffle House. The experiments included LSD, electroshock, sensory deprivation, and straight-up torture. They tried hypnosis, forced drug addiction, and even beamed microwaves into monkey brains. One scientist implanted electrodes in dogs to control them with a remote. It worked, which is somehow more terrifying. Between 1953 and 1964, universities like Cornell and Georgetown took CIA money through front organizations. Most researchers had no clue they were working for the government. The CIA was running a shell game with human test subjects, and nobody was keeping score. You want to know how insane MKUltra got? Operation Midnight Climax. Starting in 1954, the CIA set up fake brothels in San Francisco and New York. They hired prostitutes on government payroll and told them to bring clients back where, surprise, the men got secretly dosed with LSD. Now, I know what you're thinking. There's no way the government actually did that. Oh, buddy, they absolutely did. The San Francisco safe house at 225 Chestnut Street was decorated with French can-can posters, red curtains, Toulouse-Lautrec prints, and a fridge full of martinis. Behind the scenes, one-way mirrors where CIA agents watched everything. Microphones in the outlets, cameras filming, your tax dollars at work. The prostitutes got $100 per client and immunity from police. Their job? Drug the guys, sleep with them, ask questions to see if sex plus LSD made people spill secrets. It was a psychedelic honeypot funded by taxpayers. Running the show was George Hunter White, who installed a portable toilet behind the mirror so he wouldn't miss the action and kept a pitcher of martinis in a mini-fridge. In a letter to Gottlieb, White wrote, "I toiled wholeheartedly in the vineyards because it was fun, fun, fun. Where else could a red-blooded American boy lie, kill, cheat, steal, rape, and pillage with the sanction and blessing of the All-Highest?" That's a real quote from a real government employee describing his real job. The program ran for years. San Francisco closed in 1965, New York in 1966. Countless men got unknowingly dosed, freaked out, had their lives destroyed. Some committed crimes while high and got arrested with no idea the CIA had drugged them. The agency stayed silent. When CIA Inspector General John Ehrman discovered it in 1963, his report warned it could cause serious adverse reaction if exposed, so they scaled it back, but kept it going for 3 more years. Because why stop when you're having fun, fun, fun? Frank Rudolph Olson was a 43-year-old bacteriologist working on biological warfare at Fort Detrick in Maryland. He was part of the CIA's MKULTRA inner circle, which meant he knew dangerous things. In November 1953, Olson went to a retreat at Deep Creek Lake with other CIA and Army scientists. Gottlieb's team spiked the after-dinner drinks with LSD without telling anyone. Olson and several others were drugged. Most had rough nights. Olson had a total breakdown. 9 days later, on November 28, 1953, Olson fell from a 10th-floor window at the Hotel Statler in New York and died. He was sharing the room with CIA colleague Robert Lashbrook, who claimed he was asleep when it happened. The official story? Suicide. For 22 years, Olson's family believed he'd killed himself. Then in June 1975, the Rockefeller Commission released a report mentioning an unnamed Army scientist given LSD without consent in 1953, who died shortly after. The family immediately knew it was Frank. Within 10 days, they were in the Oval Office with President Gerald Ford, who formally apologized. The CIA admitted they dosed Olson. The family got a $750,000 settlement. But later forensic reviews raised questions. Did Olson jump, or was he pushed? His son Eric had the body exhumed in 1994. A forensic pathologist found evidence suggesting Olson was hit in the head before going out the window. Was Frank Olson murdered because he knew too much? Or did he really kill himself after a bad acid trip? We'll probably never know. But the CIA secretly drugged their own scientist, he ended up dead, and they covered it up for over 2 decades. Operation Midnight Climax was just the tip. The CIA took their experiments into bars, restaurants, and beaches. They'd slip drugs into people's drinks in public just to watch what happened. No consent, no warning. George White's team would dose people in New York bars, then follow them taking notes. Some became terrified and paranoid. Others committed crimes while completely out of their minds on government acid. And when they got arrested, the CIA stayed silent. These people went to jail with no idea a federal agency had drugged them. Wayne Ritchie, a deputy U.S. Marshal, got his drink spiked with LSD at a 1957 Christmas party. He went insane, tried to rob a bar at gunpoint, and had to resign. Decades later, he found out George White had been at that party. Ritchie sued, but couldn't prove it. The agency never confirmed or denied it. The CIA funded research through front organizations, so even scientists didn't know they were working for the government. Universities took the money, thinking it was legit, while the CIA used their work to dose civilians nationwide. Senate testimony revealed the CIA's own reports acknowledged these tests were unpredictable and harmful, but they kept doing them anyway. By the early 1970s, the walls were closing in. Watergate had everyone paranoid, and CIA Director Richard Helms was about to get fired. Helms and Gottlieb made a decision: destroy everything. we've got a problem. People are asking questions about the mind control experiments. Have you tried burning all the evidence? Genius! In 1973, Helms ordered all MKUltra files destroyed. Gottlieb personally drove to the records center and oversaw the destruction. They shredded everything that could tie them to the program. And it almost worked. About 20,000 pages survived because someone misfiled them with financial documents. Bless that incompetent filing clerk. In 1977, a Freedom of Information Act request uncovered these documents. Senator Ted Kennedy held hearings. Victims came forward. The media went wild. But even with 20,000 pages, we only know a fraction of what happened. We know about 149 subprojects, but details are murky. We know thousands were dosed, but not who most of them were. We know Frank Olson died, but there could be more. Gottlieb testified in 1977 and said, "I don't remember much." Convenient when you just destroyed all the evidence. The CIA faced outrage and investigations. President Ford signed an order in 1976 banning drug experiments without consent. The agency promised never again. And nobody went to jail. No researchers were prosecuted. No CIA officials faced charges. Gottlieb retired to a farm. The victims? Some got settlements. Most got nothing. Just trauma and the knowledge that their government used them as guinea pigs and tried to erase all proof. This isn't conspiracy theory nonsense. This is documented, declassified American history. The Church Committee investigated it. The CIA admitted to all of it. Projects Artichoke and MKUltra, Operation Midnight Climax, and the government-run LSD Brothels were real. Frank Olson's death was real. All of it actually happened. Well, that's all I got for this one. If you enjoyed learning about government-sanctioned mind control and feel vaguely concerned about what else is buried in classified files, hit that subscribe button. Go watch this video next. I'll see you over there.